My name is Kelly, and I'm guilty of crimes against validity. For 10 years, I used traditional grading. Points were my counterfeit currency. I could print them for free and toss them around like prizes and punishments. I ran the game my students and I were playing. I wrote the rules, I directed our path, I judged who won and lost. My students knew the game, most teachers had their own versions, and they played along like eager pawns. Luckily, it was my students who taught me the ironies of our game. Alex and Gina copied and plagiarized, desperately trying to earn a few points. Jared tried to make up for lost points by rushing to crank out extra credit before the end of the semester. Angel, who understood that this was all a game, asked, "How many points is this worth?" before starting any assignment. And Talon simply chose not to turn in work for points, whether or not he'd learned anything. These kids taught me that our class was all about points, and points were free to me. How many points is this worth? 100, 1 million, 1. Their grades were completely in my control. But I didn't want our class to be all about points, and I didn't want the control. I wanted to teach a class that was all about learning and about growth, where students had control over their progress and their success. So what could help me change the game? Standards-based grading leveled the playing field. Now students aim for mastery instead of points and can show their growth in different ways. If Gina struggles to research transcendentalism, she tries again with modern civil disobedience. If Jared flails during a speech, he can contribute to a Socratic seminar. Skills, not assignments, are our new goals. Learning, not points. Research into assessment and grading helped me rewrite the rules of the game, but this time the rules were for me. I will not award participation points. I will not use the 0 as punishment. Extra credit must be the result of extra learning, and I will involve students in the grading process. There were a few surprises. Kids and parents weren't always happy. Tori, who started and ended most grades with 100%, was surprised to find in September that she actually had room to improve. Nick, who appreciated the cushion of extra credit, was disappointed to watch his grade climb slowly and steadily as he learned, rather than in one huge leap with a diorama. Together, we learned that growth is about more than just jumping through a hoop to collect the points. It's about grit, mindset, curiosity, and contributing to a learning community. I was surprised that the power structure in my classroom changed. I used to stand at the door with my clipboard, checking to see who'd turned in missing work. Now my clipboard is used for good, not evil. Now I can stroll through the classroom, noting which standards are being demonstrated as students work and discuss. A question, an outline, a robotic recycling prototype, almost anything can demonstrate learning and growth on standards. Of course, I still can't read minds, and we can't yet upload or download to students' brains, so I'll never know completely what they understand. That's why students are ultimately responsible for showing mastery, whether it's with a learning opportunity I designed or one they developed on their own. Twice each semester, every student leads a conference to show evidence of their learning and plan for their next steps. They're reflecting on what they've learned, they're setting and modifying goals, they have a hand in determining their grade. Conversations have changed. When I congratulated Lauren on taking time to look upwards rather than rushing to finish a reading quiz, she replied in shock, "You're the only teacher who would say that learning is more important than the test." But I'm not the only teacher who thinks this way. My friend Jen from Spokane, when a student wants to improve their grade, asks, "What skills do you need growth in? How can I help you get there? How can you prove you've grown?" My colleague Kylen, who teaches art in Lake Stevens, tells students, "Pretend you're me. What do I need to see to know that you're better?" My co-presenter Jeff writes about how standards-based grading empowers students. When students know their scores early in the term, they can see where they need to provide extra effort to get the grade they desire. But my favorite part about standards-based grading is that student growth is more important than my assignments. When we rebuild our gradebooks around learning instead of points, we become more flexible and more focused. And when students can take charge of their learning and apply it in any situation, they're ready to take on the world. Thank you.